Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, we will be seeing about the literary sources. In last video, we have discussed about archaeological sources. So we will continue with the literary sources in today's video. So before going into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends. And also click the bell button to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. So without wasting time, let us get into today's video. So today's video is about literary sources. Literary sources. So in the last video we have seen that history is divided into prehistoric and historic period. So for prehistoric period, there was no written records, and for that we depended on archaeological sources. Archaeological sources, and that was what we discussed in last video. For historic period, we depend on written records, and those are literary sources. So that is what we are going to learn in today's video. So literary sources are basically divided into two. There are two types of literary sources, that is primary and secondary. Primary literary source and secondary literary source. Primary literary sources are those which provide direct evidence of the event. Direct evidence of the event, and they are contemporary to the occurrence of the event. Contemporary to the occurrence of the event. That is primary literary source. Whereas secondary literary source are those which are written after the event has occurred. Written after the event has occurred. So these are the two types: primary, that is direct evidence, contemporary to the event, and secondary is written after the event has occurred. So maybe secondary literary source can depend on primary literary sources. So these are the two main divisions related to literary sources, that is primary and secondary. Now in literary sources, there is a wide range of division. Considering literary source, we have a wide range of division. That is, if we see literary sources, it can be divided into, first we can say religious literature, and in this religious literature, basically it deals with the religious texts of Hindus, Buddhists and Jains. Okay, religious literature deals with the religious texts of Hindus, Buddhists and Jains. So in this, Hindu religious literature consists of Vedas, Brahmanas, Upanishads, Aranyakas, then Sutras, Smritis, Puranas and epics. All these are included in the Vedic literature, Hindu religious literature. There are Vedas, Brahmanas, Upanishads, Aranyakas, Sutras, Smritis, Puranas, epics. All these are included in Hindu religious text, that is Vedic literature. So that is what we are going to learn in detail in today's video. Religious literature or Vedic religious literature. So here religious literature, as I told, consists of texts of Hindus, Buddhists and Jains. And the first literary source of Hindus, okay, if Hindu religious literature we are learning, Hindu religious literature. If you take Hindu religious literature, the first literary source of Hindu religious literature, they are called as Samhitas. And these Samhitas include the 4 Vedas. Okay, so as we told, Hindu religious literature, the first literary source are called as Samhitas. They include 4 Vedas. And which are the 4 Vedas? The 4 Vedas are Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda. The 4 Vedas are Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. Other than Vedas, as I have already told, there are Brahmanas, Upanishads, Aranyaka, Sutras, Smritis, etc. And all these throw light on the history and culture of India. So here we are going to learn in detail one by one of the Hindu religious literature. Okay. So first literary source, Samhitas. Today we are going to deal with the first literary source, Samhita, which consists of the 4 Vedas. So first let us have a deep look into the word Veda. The word Veda is derived from a Sanskrit word. It has a Sanskrit root. The word is Vid and the meaning of Vid is knowledge. The word Veda has a Sanskrit root Vid, which means knowledge. And Vedas are considered to be revealed books. What do you mean by revealed books? Revealed books means they have a title. They have a title. The title is Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya means not made by man. Not made by man. Paurusheya means related to man. Apaurusheya means not made by man. So these are revealed books. That is, these are written or these are revealed by gods, and then they are like written under the inspiration of gods. So here they are written under the inspiration of gods and then transmitted verbally. It is transmitted verbally. That is why they are called as revealed books or Apaurusheya. It is not man-made. They are written under the inspiration of gods and are transmitted verbally. And they are also called as Shruti. Okay, these Vedas are also called as Shruti, that means to hear. When it is transmitted verbally, that means one person will tell, other person will hear, and then he will transmit to the another person. That is why it is called as Shruti or to hear. It is transmitted verbally. And Vedic literature means these 4 Vedas and their Samhitas. Vedic literature altogether means 4 Vedas and their Samhitas are together called as Vedic literature. So Veda, from Sanskrit word Vid or knowledge, they are revealed books. They are called as Apaurusheya, not made by man. They are written under the inspiration of gods and are transmitted verbally. That is why they are also called as Shruti, that is meaning to hear. So now let us move on to the first Veda, that is Rig Veda. Okay, the first Veda, Rig Veda. Rig Veda is the oldest religious text, and Rig Veda consists of 1017 hymns. Okay, hymns, or it is called as suktas. Rig Veda consists of 1017 hymns and supplemented by 11 others. Okay, 1017 hymns and it is supplemented by 11 others, and this 11 others are called as Valakyas. Okay, suktas and Valakyas. 1017 suktas and 11 Valakyas are there in Rig Veda. It is the oldest religious text. Now some examples, and this Rig Veda altogether is divided into 10 books or mandalas, divided into 10 books, and they are called as mandalas. For example, we can say Mandala 2 by Gritsamada, then Mandala 3 by Vishwamitra, Mandala 4 by Vamadeva. All these are the different mandalas. 10 mandalas are there. I just gave some example. So Rig Veda is divided into 10 books or mandalas. Mandala 2 by Gritsamada, Mandala 3 by Vishwamitra, Mandala 4 by Vamadeva, etc. And the 10th mandala. So here there are 10 mandalas in total, and the 10th mandala consists of the famous Purusha Sukta. The famous Purusha Sukta is there in the 10th mandala. And what is Purusha Sukta? It explains about the 4 varnas. The explanation about 4 varnas are given in the Purusha Suktas. Which are the 4 varnas? The 4 varnas are Brahmanas, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. These are the 4 varnas, and explanation about these 4 varnas are given in the 10th mandala of Rig Veda, and it is called as Purusha Sukta. And Rig Veda is purely religious work. Okay, Rig Veda, if we see, it is purely religious work, and most of the hymns are invocations to God. As we told, there are hymns in the Rig Veda, 1017 hymns are there, and most of them are invocations to gods. That is why Rig Veda is mostly religious work. So this much are the points related to Rig Veda. Now let us move on to the next Veda, that is Sama Veda. Okay, Sama Veda. So Sama Veda is derived from the root Saman, that means melody or a collection of melody. Sama Veda from the word Saman mean melody or collection of melody. It is also called as book of chants. Okay, chanting, chants. It is called as book of chants. With the exception of 75 hymns, all others have been taken from Rig Veda. Other than these 75 hymns, all others are taken from Rig Veda. And these hymns, are usually sung at the time of Soma sacrifice. Okay, when Soma sacrifice is being done, the hymns from Sama Veda is being sung, and these are sung by a special class of Brahmanas. Only a special class of Brahmanas use this hymns from Sama Veda. Special class of Brahmanas, they are called as Udgatris. Okay, so Sama Veda, it is derived from the root Saman, meaning melody. It is a book of chants. With the exception of 75 hymns, all others are taken from the Rig Veda. They are sung at the time of Soma sacrifice by special class of Brahmanas called as Udgatri. So this is about Sama Veda. Now let us move on to the next Veda, that is Yajur Veda. Yajur Veda. Yajur Veda are basically book of sacrificial prayers. Sacrificial prayers. Okay, Yajur Veda, mainly book of sacrificial prayers. And they consist of various mantras. For sacrifices, mantras are used. These mantras are included in Yajur Veda. They consist of various mantras or hymns for recitation, and also they consist of rules to be observed at the time of sacrifice. Rules to be observed at the time of sacrifice. When sacrifices are being done, what are rules have to be observed? That also is included in Yajur Veda. This is both verse and prose. Both verse and prose are there in Yajur Veda. And two main texts of Yajur Veda. They are two main texts. One is Krishna Yajur Veda. Krishna Yajur Veda. It is also called as Krishna Yajur Veda is also called as Black Yajur Veda. Black. And another one is Shukla Yajur Veda. Shukla Yajur Veda, it is called as White Yajur Veda. Okay, Krishna and Shukla, black and white. So Yajur Veda is a book of sacrificial prayers. It consists of various mantras or hymns to be recited and rules to be observed during the time of sacrifice. And this is both verse and prose. two main texts of Yajurveda, that is Krishna Yajurveda black and Shukla Yajurveda white. And this Krishna Yajurveda, this consists of four samhitas. Four samhitas, that is Kataka, Kapisthala, Katha, etc. Four samhitas are there. And this white Yajurveda, Shukla Yajurveda, consists of only the Vajasaneyi Samhita. Vajasaneyi Samhita. Okay. So Krishna Yajurveda has four Samhitas and Shukla Yajurveda has only one Vajasaneyi Samhita. So these are the points regarding the next third Veda, that is Yajurveda. Now just let us revise the points which we have studied till now. Literary sources. Literary sources are of two kinds, primary and secondary. Primary sources provide direct evidence of the event. They are contemporary to the occurrence of the event. Secondary sources are written after the event occurred. Religious literature. The religious literature includes religious texts of Hindus, Buddhists and Jains. The first literary source of Hindus are Samhitas, which include the four Vedas. They are Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. Besides these, there are Brahmanas, Upanishads, Aranyakas, Sutras, Smriti, Purana and the epics. They throw light on the history and culture of India. Vedas. The word Veda is derived from Sanskrit root Vid, meaning knowledge. They are considered to be revealed books. They have title of Apaurusheya, which means not made by man. They were written under the inspiration from God and were transmitted verbally. They are also known as Shruti, meaning to hear. Vedic literature means the four Vedas and their Samhitas. Rig Veda, it is the oldest religious text. It consists of 1017 hymns, suktas, and supplemented by 11 others called as Valakyas. It is divided into 10 books or mandalas. Example, Mandala 2 by Gritsamada, Mandala 3 by Vishwamitra, Mandala 4 by Vamadeva, etc. The 10th mandala consists of the famous Purusha Sukta, which explains the four Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Rig Veda is purely religious work and most of the hymns are invocations to gods. Samaveda, it is derived from the root saman, meaning melody. It is also called as a book of chants. With the exception of 75 hymns, rest have been taken from Rig Veda. They are sung at the time of Soma sacrifice by special class of Brahmanas called Udgatris. Yajurveda. They are the book of sacrificial prayers. They consist of various mantras or hymns for recitation and rules to be observed at the time of sacrifice. This is both verse and prose. Two main texts of Yajurveda are Krishna Yajurveda black and Shukla Yajurveda white. The Krishna Yajurveda consists of four Samhitas, Kataka, Kapisthala, Katha, etc. And the white Yajurveda has only one, Vajasneyi Samhita. So next, let us move on to the next Veda, that is the last one which we have to study, that is Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda. They are entirely different from other three Vedas. Atharva Veda is entirely different from other three Vedas and they include charms and spells. Charms and spells, that is in verse form, to ward off evil and diseases. Ward off evils and diseases. They are just like charms and spells which help in warding off evils and diseases. They throw light on the beliefs and practices of non-Aryans. The charms and spells, they throw light on the beliefs and practices, especially they throw light on the beliefs and practices of non-Aryans. And they are divided into two parts. So Atharva Veda is divided into two parts, that is Paipalada and Saunaka. Okay, Paipalada and Saunaka, and the Veda is divided into 20 kandas. 20 kandas, or we can say 20 books, and it has total 711 hymns. So Atharva Veda is different from the other three Vedas. It consists of charms and spells in verse to ward off evils and diseases. They throw light on the beliefs and practices of non-Aryans. They are divided into two parts, Paipalada and Saunaka. The Vedas divided into 20 kandas or books with 711 hymns. So this much was about the four Vedas, that is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda. Now we will move on to the next part of literary source, that is Brahmanas. Okay, first we studied Vedas, now Brahmanas. Brahmanas can be said as the earliest works in prose in Sanskrit. Okay, earliest works in prose in Sanskrit. Brahmanas are the earliest works in prose in Sanskrit, and they mainly contains explanation. Okay, it consists of explanation and also discussions on the rituals and mantras, on rituals and mantras. So these are explanations and discussions on rituals and mantras, and it throws light on other issues also. And every Veda has several Brahmanas attached to it. That is, each Veda has several Brahmanas attached to it. Brahmanas attached, because these Brahmanas will give explanation about the rituals and mantras in the Vedas. Okay, so each Veda will have several Brahmanas attached to it. So that is the relation between Veda and Brahmana. Each Veda will have several Brahmanas attached to it. Now let us see each Veda and the Brahmanas attached to it. Some examples we will see. For example, Rig Veda. The Brahmanas attached to Rig Veda, Aitareya Brahmana, Kausitaki Brahmana, etc. Okay, etc. That is related to Rig Veda. Now if we go on to Sama Veda, we can see Tandya Mahabrahmana and Jaiminiya Brahmana. Jaiminiya Brahmana, these can be said as attached to Sama Veda. Then if we, and in this Tandya Maha and Jaiminiya, if we see, Tandya Maha consists of Vratyastoma. Okay, Tandya Maha, it consists of Vratyastoma. And what is this Vratyastoma? It is the ceremony, it is a special ceremony through which the people of non-Aryan stock, non-Aryan, could be admitted to Aryan fold. Okay, if a non-Aryan person has to be admitted to Aryan fold, there is a ceremony called as Vratyastoma. This ceremony is explained in Tandya Maha Brahmana, which is related to Samaveda. Okay, I hope you understand. Tandya Maha and Jaiminiya Brahmana are attached to Samaveda, and Tandya Maha consists of Vratyastoma, which is a ceremony through which people of non-Aryan stock could be admitted to Aryan fold. That is a very important term. Now related to Yajur Veda. Yajur Veda, which Brahmana is attached to Yajur Veda? We can say Taittiriya Brahmana and Satapatha Brahmana. Satapatha Brahmana are attached to Yajur Veda, and in this, if we see Satapatha Brahmana, it points out the progress of cultures of Kuru Panchala to Videha. Kuru Panchala to Videha. Only important points I am telling. So Yajur Veda has Taittiriya and Satapatha Brahmana attached to it, and in that Satapatha Brahmana tells about the progress of cultures from Kuru Panchala to Videha. And last we have Atharva Veda, and attached to it is Gopatha Brahmana. So these are the Vedas and the Brahmanas attached to them. Rig Veda has Aitareya, Kausitaki, etc. Sama Veda, Tandya Maha and Jaiminiya, and Tandya Maha Brahmana tells about Vratyastoma, and Yajur Veda, Taittiriya and Satapatha Brahmana, and Atharva Veda has Gopatha Brahmana attached to it. So this much is about Brahmanas. So now in literary sources we finished Vedas and Brahmanas. Next is the Aranyakas. Aranyakas. So from the name itself we can understand Aranyakas are called as forest books. They are concluding portion of the Brahmanas. They can be considered as concluding portion of Brahmanas. Okay. So we have studied how Vedas are there, how each Veda has Brahmanas attached to that, and then Aranyakas are concluding portion of Brahmanas. So they deal mainly with mysticism and philosophy and not with rituals. They mainly deal with mysticism and philosophy and not with rituals. It is this Aranyakas, we can say they are like a bridge between Karma Marga. Karma Marga means way of work, and Jnana Marga, that is way of knowledge. So it is like a bridge between Karma Marga, that is way of work, and Jnana Marga, that is way of knowledge. So Aranyakas, they are called as forest books. They are concluding portion of Brahmanas, and they deal with mysticism and philosophy, not with rituals. They form a bridge between Karma Marga, way of work, and Jnana Marga, way of knowledge. So that is about Aranyakas. So let us just go through the points till now. Atharva Veda, they are entirely different from the other three Vedas. They include charms and spells in verse to ward off evils and diseases. They throw light on beliefs and practices of non-Aryans. They are divided into two parts, Paipalada and Saunaka. The Veda is divided into 20 kandas or books and has 711 hymns. Now Brahmanas, they are the earliest work in prose in Sanskrit. They contain explanation and discussions on rituals and mantras and throw light on other issues also. Every Veda has several Brahmanas attached. Aitareya Kausitaki Brahmana related to Rig Veda. Tandya Maha Jaiminiya Brahmana attached to Samaveda. Tandya Maha contains Vratyastoma, which is a ceremony through which people of non-Aryan stock could be admitted to Aryan fold. Taittiriya and Satapatha Brahmana related to Yajurveda. Satapatha Brahmana points out the progress of cultures from Kuru Panchala to Videha. Gopatha Brahmana is attached to Atharva Veda. Now Aranyakas, they are called as forest books. They are concluding portions of the Brahmanas. They deal with mysticism and philosophy and not with rituals. They form a bridge between Karma Marga, way of work, and Jnana Marga, way of knowledge. Okay, so Aranyakas. So next we will move on to the Upanishads. So Vedas over, Brahmanas over, Aranyakas over. Next is Upanishads. Upanishads, the meaning of Upanishads is sitting near. Sitting near. So it is like sitting near the Guru and hearing from him, sitting near. They are philosophical texts. Upanishads are basically philosophical texts, and these philosophical texts deal with topics like universal soul or absolute soul, then individual self. All these kind of topics are dealt in the Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads. So 108 Upanishads are there, and they are written by various saints or sages or sannyasis. And some important Upanishads, as examples we can say Aitareya Upanishad, then Kausitaki Upanishad, then Mundaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, etc. Okay, so some examples are there. And the language of the Upanishad is basically classical Sanskrit. Language of the Upanishad is classical Sanskrit. So mostly Upanishads will be written in classical Sanskrit language. Okay, so Upanishad meaning sitting near. They are basically philosophical texts dealing with topics like universal soul, absolute individual self, etc. There are 108 Upanishads written by various saints and sages. Important Upanishads are Kausitaki, Aitareya, Mundaka, Chandogya, etc. And the languages of Upanishads are classical Sanskrit. So there are only this many points regarding Upanishads which we have to learn. Now the next topic is Vedangas. Sorry, it is Vedanga. Okay. Vedangas are called as Smriti. Okay. They are called as Smriti or literature handed down by tradition. Okay. Smriti or literature which are handed down by tradition. And because they are of human origin, they are not revealed, they are literature handed down by tradition. And they are also called as Smriti. Okay, that is literature which is handed down traditionally from someone's memory. That is why it is called as Smriti. There are 6 important Vedangas. Okay, 6 important Vedangas are there. And the first Vedanga is Shiksha. This Vedanga mainly deals with pronunciation. The first important Vedanga, Shiksha, dealing with pronunciation. Second, Kalpa, which is dealing with all rituals. Third is Vyakarana. From the name only you will understand, dealing with grammar. Then the fourth one, Nirukta, dealing with etymology. The fifth one, Chandas, dealing with metrics. And the last Vedanga, Jyotisha, that is from the name only you understand, astronomy. Okay, so these are the 6 important Vedangas: Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chanda and Jyotisha. So these are the 6 important Vedangas. Vedangas are also called as Smriti, that is literature handed down by tradition, and there are 6 important Vedangas. Now the speciality of Vedangas are they are written in the form of sutras. Okay, Vedangas are written in the form of sutras. Okay, so what are sutras? Sutras means it is like condensed prose style for memorization. It will be very short, condensed prose style for easy memorization. If it is too long and elaborative, it cannot be memorized. So they are written in the form of sutras. Sutras means condensed prose style. That is, it is made into a smaller version, prose style for memorization. That is the speciality of Vedanga. And of all the sutras, only Kalpa Sutra is known. So there are many sutras, and of that Kalpa Sutra is one of the known sutra, and this Kalpa Sutra is divided into 3. That is, first one is Srauta Sutra. Okay, so Srauta Sutra mainly deals with rituals of great sacrifices, of Agni, Soma and animal. Okay, so it deals with rituals of great sacrifices of Agni, Soma and animal, that is Srauta Sutra. And attached to this Srauta Sutra there is one more sutra, that is Sulva Sutra. Okay, these both are attached. Okay, Sulva Sutra, which is the oldest book in Indian geometry. It mainly deals with geometry. Sulva Sutra is attached to Srauta Sutra. It deals with geometry. So, as I told, Vedangas are written in the form of sutras, that is condensed prose style for memorization. Of all the sutras, one known is Kalpa Sutra. Kalpa Sutra is divided into 3. In that, the first one is Srauta Sutra. It deals with rituals of great sacrifices of Agni, Soma and animal. And attached to this Srauta Sutra is Sulva Sutra, which is the oldest book of Indian geometry. Now the second sutra, first one was Srauta Sutra, second one is Grihya Sutra. Grihya Sutra, that is basically domestic ceremonies and sacrifices, domestic ceremonies and sacrifices performed by basically householder. Okay, Grihya, that is householder. So Grihya Sutra consists of domestic ceremonies and sacrifices basically done by householder. And last sutra is Dharma Sutra. Dharma Sutra consists of laws, manners and customs of people in general. General laws, manners and customs are included in Dharma Sutra, and this Dharma Sutra constitutes the foundation of Dharma Shastra. Okay, Dharma Shastra. So these are the 3 sutras included in the Kalpa Sutra. So Vedangas are written in the form of sutras, and they are condensed prose style for memorization, and of all the sutras only Kalpa Sutra is known. Kalpa Sutra is divided into 3. Srauta Sutra, the first one here only I will write. Srauta Sutra deals with rituals of great sacrifices of Agni, Soma and animal. Attached to this is Sulva Sutra. Then there is Grihya Sutra with domestic ceremonies and sacrifices of householder, and Dharma Sutra, that is consisting of laws, manners and customs of people in general, and it consists of the foundation of Dharma Shastra. So now let us just see the points which we have studied till now. The Upanishads, this means sitting near. They are philosophical texts dealing with topics like the universal soul, absolute individual self, etc. There are 108 Upanishads written by various saints and sages. Important Upanishads are Aitareya, Kausitaki, Mundaka, Chandogya, etc. Language of Upanishad is classical Sanskrit. Vedangas, they are called Smriti or literature handed down by tradition because they are of human origin. 6 important Vedangas are Shiksha, pronunciation, Kalpa, rituals, Vyakarana, grammar, Nirukta, etymology, Chandas, metrics, and Jyotisha, astronomy. Vedangas are written in the form of sutras, condensed prose style for memorization. Of all the sutras, only Kalpa Sutra is known and is divided into 3 classes. Srauta Sutra deals with rituals of great sacrifices of Agni, Soma and animal. Attached to this is Sulva Sutra, which is the oldest book of Indian geometry. Grihya Sutra, domestic ceremonies and sacrifices performed by householder. And Dharma Sutra, laws, manners and customs of people in general. It constitutes the foundation of Dharma Shastra. So now let us continue with the next point. Attached, there are 4 Upavedas. See, Vedangas we studied, and after that there are 4 Upavedas. Upavedas are subsidiary Vedas. The 4 Upavedas are, first is Ayurveda, that is dealing with medicine. Then second is Dhanurveda, that is dealing with the art of warfare. Then the third one is Gandharva Veda, dealing with art of music. And the last one is Shilpa Veda, dealing with architecture. So these are the 4 Upavedas. So we studied about Vedangas, that is 6 important Vedangas are there, and other than 6 important Vedangas, there are 4 Upavedas, that is Ayurveda, medicine, Dhanurveda, art of warfare, Gandharva Veda, art of music, and Shilpa Veda, that is architecture. So these were the points regarding Vedanga. Now we studied Vedas, Brahmanas, Upanishads, Aranyakas, Vedangas, and now we will move on to the Darshanas. Okay, Darshans. The 6 schools of Indian philosophy form an important part of Vedic literature. 6 schools of philosophy. They form an important part of Vedic literature, and they are called as Shad Darshana. Shad means 6. Okay, Shad Darshana, that is 6 schools of philosophy. They form an important part of Vedic literature. They are called as Shad Darshana. So which are the 6 schools of philosophy? First one is Nyaya. written by Gautama. That is the first one. Second, Vaisheshika, written by Kanada. Third one, Sankhya by Kapila. Fourth one, Yoga by Patanjali. Fifth one, Mimamsa by Jaimini. And the sixth one, last one, Vedanta by Badrayana. So these are the 6 schools of philosophy, and all these are written in the form of sutras. We have already discussed what are sutras. They are condensed form, that is short and definite. Condensed, short and definite form they have been written. So there are 6 schools of Indian philosophy. They form an important part of Vedic literature, and they are called as Shad Darshana. They are Nyaya, written by Gautama, Vaisheshika Kanada, Sankhya Kapila, Yoga Patanjali, Mimamsa Jaimini, and Vedanta Badrayana. And they are written in the form of sutras, which are short and definite. So these are about darshanas. Now last we will learn about Puranas. Puranas, they are also an important source, and the meaning of the word Purana is ancient or old. Ancient or old. There are 18 Puranas, and they are divided into 5 sections. 18 Puranas divided into 5 sections. And the 5th section, the 5th or the last section, deals with genealogical chart, genealogical chart of various dynasties, of the Aryan and non-Aryan ruler, of Aryan and non-Aryan rulers. Okay, and the Puranas include diverse topics. There are different topics included in the Puranas, such as grammar, medicine, theology, etc. Okay, theology, etc. So these are the points about Puranas. They are an important source. The word Purana means ancient or old. There are 18 Puranas. They are divided into 5 sections, and the 5th section deals with genealogical charts, that is of various dynasties of Aryan and non-Aryan rulers, and it consists of different topics like grammar, medicine, theology, etc. Now, other than these Puranas, the epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata can also be included in the religious literary source. So all these are the points regarding the literary source. Let us just see the points which we have studied till now. There are four Upavedas or subsidiary Vedas: Ayurveda medicine, Dhanurveda art of warfare, Gandharva Veda art of music, Shilpa Veda architecture. Now darshans, the 6th school of Indian philosophy, form an important part of Vedic literature. They are called as Shad Darshana: Nyaya, written by Gautama, Vaisheshika by Kanada, Sankhya by Kapila, Yoga by Patanjali, Mimamsa by Jaimini, and Vedanta by Badrayana. They are written in the form of sutras, which are short and definite. Now Puranas, they are important source. The meaning of the word Purana is ancient or old. There are 18 Puranas, each divided into 5 sections. The 5th section deals with genealogical charts of various dynasties of the Aryan and non-Aryan rulers, and Puranas include diverse topics like grammar, medicine, theology, etc. So I hope you are clear with all the points which I have explained today. Please go through the points again and again. It is a little confusing, but if you revise it again and again, you will be easily able to understand. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. I will be continuing with the literary source in the coming videos. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your likes and shares will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. So I hope to see you all soon in the coming video. Thank you for watching.